Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the 2022 VRL Cup Series, and we are here today for the Road Atlanta 250. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight, 1080p, 60 frames a second, as per usual, folks. We are here today for a 250-kilometer race, around Road Atlanta. Coming out to be about 61 laps that we will expect to see drivers complete here today. Fuel window is going to be around 30 laps or so. And fun fact, this is the first time that I've ever called a race here at Road Atlanta. So, with that in mind, I fully expect there to be quite a bit of action here today as drivers make their way out onto the track and begin their qualifying. 2 laps that they get to set for their qualifying laps here today as we currently look with Paul Mikolajczyk in the number 38 machine, currently work his way around the track ever so slowly here, not really going too aggressively here, but on the other hand here, Cody Welsh, another driver on the track, getting those tires warmed up and ready for the start of their qualifying here today. Right now, a lot of drivers here are on their out lap, meaning that they have just came out of the pits, so they have to make their way around the track across the checkered line before their official qualifying lap begins. Again, they do have 2 laps that they can complete here today as we still look here with Cody Welsh in the 85 machine currently. And right now, I fully expect a lot of these drivers here, well, I can't really say what I expect too much out of these drivers here. Cody Welsh getting a little bit loose there. And one thing I have to notice right off the rip, Road Atlanta here, a lot of elevation changes. You're going to be in a lot of, it seems like almost kind of blind turns where you don't really see the end of the turn, if you will. So you're kind of trusting on your instincts, trusting on your knowledge of the course to make your way around the track. But Aaron Smith here in the number 70 machine, just about halfway through his first qualifying lap of the race here today. And Aaron Smith, you can see on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, based on his sector times right now, he is the man to beat, the fastest driver out on the track at this point in time, but we'll see exactly how that shapes up here. Once we officially get some official times up on our timing tower there on the left-hand side of your screen currently, Aaron Smith being one of the closest drivers here to completing his first lap. Howie Briss, also in the 97 machine, going to also be very close to completing his first lap here today. And let's see where these guys are going to stack up on the timing tower. And there you go. It's Aaron Smith out in front of Howie Briss, taking that first place spot for the moment. But a lot of drivers still left to go before they complete their first lap of the session. Right now you can see James Miller sneaking his way up into that second place spot. We see here Scott Shire in the number 4 machine. Also going to be about halfway through his first timed lap of the session here, and seems to be taking it a little bit easier here. And now we've seen this already throughout the season. These cars, not purpose-built for road courses. They are not going to do very well in those right-hand turn scenarios. They are going to struggle. So, a lot of these drivers here have already had the opportunity to kind of get those kinks worked out earlier in the season through some of the courses that we've already saw. I believe one of the first ones that we did see here, Sebring being one of them. Now, that was a very fun race to witness, and you've also seen a lot of drivers there taking it relatively smooth and easy on their qualifying, as well as just throughout the race in general. You're not going to really see these guys kind of sending it into the turn as you will with, let's say, even GT cars, any class of those, if you will. I I won't go into the faster disciplines, but right now we have about 8 drivers that have completed an official timed lap here for their qualifying. Actually, make that 9. Sean Williams in the 89 works his way into that 6th place spot. Paul Mikolajczyk sneaking his way into that 6th place spot here. And then Jaden Hopp, surprisingly, getting a little bit loose there, but keeping it back together in the 81 machine. It's going to be Jaden Hopp taking that 2nd place spot here with James Miller just behind in 3rd place. And Jaden Hopp here is going to exhaust his qualifying laps here today, so he is going to be essentially just taking advantage of the time that he has out on track, getting a little bit more practice in. But another driver that is going to be working on some of his last lap here, Cody Miller in the 28 machine, currently 11th on the timing tower here, as there is just under 4 minutes, just about 4 minutes left to go here in this qualifying session. And right now, a handful of drivers have not made their way out onto track to complete their qualifying laps here. Patrick Colby, Kevin Foster, Michael Ashmore, Howie Dietrich, Keith Lee, Michael Keith Lee, Nick Nickerson. Excuse me, not Nick Nickerson. He is out on track at the moment. The other drivers that I did list, however, did not make their way out onto track at this moment. However, there is still just about 3 minutes left in the session. So there still is a little bit of time left to complete a lap or 2 at least. But right now, looking at the timing tower, that is the wrong thing that I wanted to display there. But so you can see on the left-hand side of your screen on the timing tower, you can see the driver's best time that they have placed here in this qualifying session right now. Aaron Smith with an impressive 124.24 as his best time here, and Jaden Hopp just behind that with a 124.92. James Miller rounding out the top 3 with a 125.37. And you can see on the timing tower there, out of the 13 drivers that have made their way out onto track to complete their qualifying laps here today, those are going to be the best times that they have set here, and that is where they are going to sit on the starting grid for the start of the Road Atlanta 250. Again, this is a 250-kilometer race. It roughly equates out to a 61-lap race for here today. And drivers are going to be given a set of 3 tires, including the one that they start on, if that is correct. So it should be in total 4, but technically they have 3 extra sets available to them for the race here today. So going to be pretty interesting to see how these guys utilize kind of this one-stop pit stop here. Really, there's only going to be, we expect at least one. Again, that's going to be around 30 or so laps, give or take a few, depending on where drivers are placing themselves during the race and how aggressively they're driving, or if they're not driving aggressively at all. So, with qualifying, just about a minute and a half left before we see the checkered flag fly, and Alex Anderson in the 67 gets a little loose there. He's going to bring it back behind the wall before anything worse happens to that 67 here. And Nick Nickerson in that number 2 machine in the GFR Racing sponsored machine there, sneaking his way all the way into 6th place here on this qualifying. So Nick is going to see himself near the top 5 on this start. Now, the interesting thing about these road course races for these drivers is obviously we're not going to see kind of this pack racing mentality off the start. It's going to be quite the opposite. There are a number of spots on this track that are going to be very tricky, especially this turn here where you have to slow way down for the right-hander and down the straight. So we're going to see a lot of interesting behavior amongst our drivers and how they want to really try and try and push themselves throughout this race here today. So with just about 15 seconds left in our qualifying session at the moment, Nick Nickerson going to be trying to complete his final qualifying lap here, as the white flag will fly in just a moment, or the checkered flag actually, not the white flag here. But that is not going to be enough time here for the number 2 of Nick Nickerson, as we are going to have our starting grid ready for us here in just a few moments. Now, while we wait here, folks, I gotta say this has been quite the interesting race, or season, not race. It hasn't even started yet. But truly, it's been a very amazing season that these guys have put on so far, and really, it's been thrilling to watch these guys take these cars to these road courses. It's absolutely wonderful to witness here. So our grid is here and ready for us. Aaron Smith in the number 70 machine going to be starting out in that first place spot. Jaden Hopp in the 81 going to be in second place, rounding out your first row. James Miller in the 09 starting in third. Howie Briss in the 97 in fourth place. Tony Hilbrands. Happy birthday, Tony, by the way. I did catch that from Dawn Hilbrands. Thank you for that. Tony here, the birthday man, going to be in fifth place with Nick Nickerson in the number 2, going to be in sixth place, rounding out your third row. Nicholas Lavelle in the number 10 machine in seventh place with Sean Williams in the 89, going to be in eighth place, rounding out your fourth row. Paul Mikolajczyk in the 38, going to be in ninth place with Thomas Sewell in the 77 in 10th. Benny Hogan in 11th with Cody Miller in 12th place. Scott Shire going to be in 13th. James Coulibaly in 14th. Alex Anderson in 15th. Kevin Foster in 16th. Michael Ashmore in 17th. Howie Dietrich in 18th. Cody Welsh in 19th. Michael Keithley in 20th. Patrick Colby in 21st. Keith Lee in 22nd. Wow. There's a lot of names to go through there, folks, but that is going to round out our field here today. And our drivers are patiently going to follow behind the pace car, the safety car, rather. Before we see the green flag fly here at Road Atlanta. Here for just a quick moment. Here is a look at our points standings after the race at Charlotte. So it's going to be Howie Briss leading the front, or leading the championship at this moment. Rashawn Williams in second, just 124 points behind Howie Briss. Nicholas Lavelle in third place. Tony Hilbrands in fourth. Benny Hogan in fifth. Nick Nickerson in sixth place. Jaden Hopp in seventh. James Coulibaly in eighth. Scott Shire in ninth. Charles Jurek in 10th place. So that's going to round out our top 10 in the point standings at this moment. And we are going to see the field go green here in just a few moments here, if I am not mistaken. Let's take a look here and see if that is true. That is going to be indeed correct. Using a little bit of our tools up here in the booth to make sure that we're not just crazy. Again, this is the first time that I have called a race here at Road Atlanta, so we are just going to be going with the flow here. As the pace car has gone down into the pit road, the green flag will fly here at Road Atlanta. It is lap number 1 of 61. And here, Aaron Smith in the number 70 here with an impressive lead. James Miller trying to hold on to second place here, and really there's just a lot of, we got someone way in the grass there. I believe that was Alex Anderson that got up in the grass here. Let's see if we can take things back here for just a moment and see what happens here. Alex flying through the grass in the 67, gets it back out onto track. But right now, we got battles happening throughout the field as we are still on the opening lap of the Road Atlanta 250. Everyone falling single file here at this point in time, trying to do everything that they can to really just stay on the tail of the driver in front of them. You really just want to just stick on that tail, on that bumper as much as you possibly can here. So we ride on board with Nick Nickerson in the number 2 machine. Following behind, Tony Hilbrand's in the 92. Nick holding on to 6th place here at this point in time. And the gap between Nick Nickerson right now and Aaron Smith, our race leader, just about 3 seconds at this point in time, and he still has that 70 in eyesight here. So really this battle here for the lead could potentially stay out for quite some time here, just as long as this group sticks together as well as they are. Right now, Howie Bristow, oh wow, right onto the inside. Tony Hilbrand smacks the rear end of Howie Briss. That sends him spinning out, dropping Tony Hilbrand's all the way down into 10th place, down 5 positions from the start of this race here. Tony Hilbrand's definitely not going to be happy about that one. Cody Miller now going to be charging around the rear end of that 92 machine. Benny Hogan is now going to be the driver that Tony Hilbrand needs to catch up in with 3 seconds between them. That is going to be quite the task here. And look at the number of drivers that have now caught up to the 92 of Tony Hilbrand's after that. Just awful, awful wreck here. Let's see if we can get another replay of that. Here we go. So Howie Briss there. A little bit of a checkup. Ooh, wow. Might have been a case of some ARCA brakes there if I've ever seen it. But either way, that's going to be rough for Tony Hilbrand's here. Now, Howie Briss, however, as he was on the receiving end of that, here in 4th place, he's still holding on to that 4th place spot here. That's where he started and qualified in. Getting up on that curb nice and well. You see the right side tires come up off the ground of that 97 machine. Howie Briss here doing a phenomenal job with Nick Nickerson, putting all the pressure that he possibly can on the rear end of Howie Briss. Nick going around on the outside, though. That looked a little interesting from that camera angle. Nick is doing everything he possibly can, trying to avoid pulling what Tony Hilbrand did just a moment ago. And no offense to Tony, though. Howie Dietrich had a little bit of a moment here, it looks like. Let's see exactly what happened here for Howie. You can see the 34 machine of Howie Dietrich. All right. Okay, so not exactly sure. Let's get one more spin up of that here. I want to see what happens here from a different angle. So it looks like he tried to go on the inside to let who was that? I think that was the 36 on by. That just did not play out in his favor there. So that's going to be unfortunate for Howie. He's going to bring it down into the pits, and that might be the end of the 34's race here today. But right now, Aaron Smith, still our race leader after 3 laps that we have completed here at Road Atlanta. The number 70 machine looking extremely strong here for the Road Atlanta 250. James Miller and Jaden Hop, let me get that right. Battling it out here for 2nd place. The 81 machine trying to stick on the tail of the 09. So we continue on here. Jaden with just about a half a second between himself and James Miller. I'm kind of curious to see how Jaden here is going to really apply this pressure. When you're on a road course like this with cars that are not exactly designed to handle these right-handers, essentially, with the way that these drivers are doing them, it's always very interesting to me to see how these guys handle these lines and how it changes kind of throughout the race as these tires degrade. And man, it's really thrilling to watch, folks. So I hope everyone sticks around, and I hope everyone is enjoying the race thus far. As right now, it seems we got some pretty exciting action happening throughout the field here. Michael Ashmore with a little bit of an incident here. Ooh, look at the front end of that 38 machine. That is looking mighty beat up there. Let's see what happens here with Michael Ashmore in the 98 machine. Trying to slow down and get sideways. Spins it around. Let's see what happens to the front end here. And there he goes again. Gets a little loose and bang! Ooh! Ouch. That... Michael is going to need a neck brace after that one. That looked like it hurt. Hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you all for joining, and welcome to today's coverage of the Road Atlanta 250 for the 2022 VRL Cup Series. Michael Ashmore in the chat. I perished. Indeed. Indeed. That was a terrible wreck, Mike. Let's hope that that doesn't happen to anyone else here at this moment. But let's check in on the rest of our field here. Let's see how everyone else is doing and see where they're at. The fan favorite, or well, one of the fan favorites, I think. Cody Welsh here in the 85 machine. Going to be in 13th right now, up 6 spots from where he started. On the tail of Benny Hogan at the moment in that number 5 machine. Right now he's got the pace to, as he gets a little bit loose. Gets the 2 tires on the grass, but keeps it together back on track, and he's reeling in the number 5 of Benny Hogan here once again. So on the top of your screen, you can see the driver's last time around the track here as well. Kind of see how well they're doing pace-wise now. Granted, it doesn't always reflect how well they're doing in the race as far as where they are in position, but it does give you a little bit of insight whether or not they're a little bit slower or a little bit faster than the rest of the drivers around them. Right now, Cody Welsh is actually seemingly just a little bit faster than Benny Hogan Scott Shire at this moment, but it also could be because he's on the tail end of this draft here of Benny Hogan. If he can get a little bit closer, he might be able to take advantage of that even further and be able to make that pass here. But look at this, it's Nicholas Lavelle having a little bit of problems here getting off track. Not exactly sure what happened, what caused that to happen here for the number 10 machine. But right now, Nicholas Lavelle going to get himself back onto track, and lap 7 of 61. There's still plenty of racing left to do. So Jaden Hopp is on the tail of James Miller. Oh, here we go, Jaden Hopp trying to get on the inside of James Miller for this second place spot. It's a battle for second place. Let's actually ride on board here with Jaden Hopp. That was the wrong intended camera. My apologies, everyone. But Jaden Hopp here, as we ride along with third place driver in the 81 machine here. Ooh, getting on the curve. Very nice. You can see the 09 James Miller get a little bit loose. It's minor slip-ups like that are going to play in favor to the 81 of Jaden Hopp here, but If it happens to James Miller, it's also possible to happen to Jaden Hopp, so he needs to be careful. James Miller is really pushing that 09 here, trying to get himself a nice, comfortable gap between Jaden. Well, you can see it on your screen here, folks. Jaden doing an absolutely incredible job here in this battle for second place. As Nick Nickerson now is slowly starting to reel himself in to this battle here. It's a three-way battle now. Oh, little bit of movement there from the 81 of Jaden Hopp. He's still got quite a bit of distance to close, nearly half a second between himself and James Miller, but we've already seen it from Jaden. He's able to close that relatively quickly on these turns. It seems he's a little bit more confident on that brake. He's able to slow that car down a little bit more aggressively, a little bit sooner. There, you can see it right there. He's already closed it down to nearly a quarter of a second now. Nick Nickerson holding off in the back in fourth place at this moment. We've seen the number 2 machine slowly working his way up through the field, and you can see just behind them as he just came around the turn. That's Howie Briss in the 97 in 5th place. As we ride along board now, we're gonna be doing this a little bit often, more than usual here, folks. A lot of different perspectives to see the race from on a road course like this, like Road Atlanta, and you can see what I was talking about earlier in the race, how this track, how Road Atlanta has a lot of different elevation changes. You can see as they make their way into this right-hander, it's not too much of an elevation change there, but you will see it as we progress throughout the track. How it's up and down, it's absolutely incredible. But what's even more incredible here is Jaden. Oh, wow, that looked extremely close there for Nick Nickerson. That almost went very, very badly for Jaden Hopp. And here's a view. That was beautiful. So Jaden Hopp here going to be on the tail of James Miller. Nick Nickerson's right on the bumper of Jaden Hopp here. This battle is really heating up here for second place, actually. It's not even for third. It's for second. And we're on lap 10 of 61, so just about a third of the way before we see the very first, I think the first and only pit stop of the race be made for these drivers here today. All of these three drivers just on the tail of one another. And I gotta wonder here as well, as these guys kind of get into a little draft package here, if they're going to be able to reel in the 70 of Aaron Smith, who, by the way, has now increased his gap from, it was earlier about 3 seconds to nearly 10 seconds. As we work our way through the nice chicane there, Jaden Hopp right on the tail of James Miller, goes on the outside. That very deceiving camera angle that was there. But either way, it looks cool and it looks great. But we're going to step away from this battle for a second and see what happens here for Paul Mikolajczyk. It looks like he had a moment coming out of pits, it would seem. I'm not sure exactly what happens here. So we're going to keep going back here. We're going to go check back in here with our field and see where things are. Oh, no. Keith Lee gets a little loose. Almost collects himself in with the leaders. He's going to find himself down a few laps here already, so not having the best start to the race here today for the Road Atlanta 250. Cody Welsh both battling it out here for 10th place. The 28 machine out in front of that 85 of Cody Welsh at this moment. Miller here with just about 3/4 of a second lead over Cody Welsh at this moment. And right now, Tony Hillebrand's here in 6th place now, as he was working his way around James Miller, I believe, just a moment ago, and now he's right on the tail of Sean Williams in the 89. Going to be battling for that 5th place spot here. Lap 12 of 61. It has been an exciting race here from the start, and I fully expect to see it last this way until the end with the way that these drivers have been going. And if you're looking at the bottom right-hand side of your screen, you will see the track map and get an idea of where all of your favorite drivers are. You can locate them just based on their car number. If it is not visible, I do apologize. It's not a perfect solution, but it is a nice little visual to have, as we have a lot of drivers throughout the field here. 22 drivers to be specific, and 2 of which are currently finding themselves down in pit lane due to one reason or another. As we've seen already, a few incidents, a few wrecks to come out here for this race. I fully expect to see that issue happen here more than once. So we're heading up to the helicopter, the Team Goon Squad helicopter that was very kind enough to fly out here to Road Atlanta and be here for the race here today. And right now, following along with Nick Nickerson in the 2 machine, holding on to this 2nd place spot. If you were here just a moment ago, we were following along with these drivers, Nick Nickerson, Jaden Hopp, and Howie Briss. All 3 of these drivers were all competing very close to one another for this 2nd place spot, and they were all doing an extremely very good job here. So as we just step back here a little bit with Jaden Hopp in the 81. The gap between these drivers has opened up quite significantly here. So really, I would expect to see this kind of probably expand even further unless one driver's saving tires, one driver's really trying to extend their gap. There's a whole list of things that they could be doing here, and I'm sure that right now, if you're Nick Nickerson, if you're Jaden Hopp, if you're Aaron Smith, I mean, they're all going to be thinking about what they need to do right now to keep this podium spot. But right now, the hottest battle that we have on track right now is between that of James Miller and Sean Williams. James Miller in the 09 machine, hot on the rear end of Sean Williams. And Tony Hillebrand's just out in front of these guys here in that 5th place spot. You can see James Miller here going to be right on the bumper. Going to be trying to make a pass here on Sean Williams. It looks like he's successful in doing so, and he is. He's around that 89. Sean Williams back up into 6th place now. James Miller here, he was up in that 3rd place spot where Jaden Hopp currently sits. So he's going to be looking to try and work his way back up this field here and might be possibly one of the drivers that we see come down pit road a little bit earlier than others, just due to the fact that he might be wanting to push himself just a little bit more to get himself up this field. Now, that might be completely wrong, but it might also just be that the rest of the field in front of him or around him is kind of just at the point where they're in fuel saving mode, they're in tire saving mode, whatever the case may happen to be. And Scott Shire had a little bit of an incident a moment ago in that 4. Ooh, it looks like he's getting very close to James Coulibaly in that 12 machine there, in that Mobile 1 machine. Let's take a look here at what happened. Oh, actually, let's not do that here. This is pretty exciting. Side by side, Scott Shire, James Coulibaly, 14th. We'll see what these drivers do here. Very good work there from Scott Shire through the chicane. First one in, first one out. That's the name of the game there. I'm loving this angle here as drivers come across that curb. But right now, things are starting to steady out. A lot of drivers are starting to find themselves a little spread out amongst each other. Not really seeing a whole lot of too close battles. Right now we got Tony Hillbrand's James Miller duking it out for 5th place. We got Benny Hogan as well as, I believe, Patrick Colby. Both duking it out for 12th, as well as Scott Shire and James Coulibaly in that 14th place battle there. So, as things start to kind of calm down here and spread out as these drivers experience that tire wear, I'm curious to see how this is going to affect the leaders and how this is going to affect our podiums. I really, it probably won't affect it very much here, but we have yet to see how pit stops are going to be for these guys, how they're going to ultimately work out, and where we're going to see our leaders come down into pits. Man, I got a lot of questions on my mind, folks, so I hope to get them all answered here soon, as well as for you guys watching at home. But right now, still the battles have between Tony Hillbrand's and James Miller quite calm, quite steady. James Miller just trailing Tony Hillbrand's in the 92, but right as I say that, he sneaks it on the inside. He's got an opportunity to take that 5th place spot, but Tony, with a little bit more speed out of the turn, he's able to keep that from happening. So Tony here doing everything he can to hold on to his 5th place spot. He qualified there. He is going to stay there. If he's not going to stay there, he's going to be up the field even higher. And I think that's the mindset that Tony is in right now. And it seems to be working, as James Miller's still hot on the tail of that 92. Oh man, James Miller there really trying everything in his power here. Oh man, you can see how loose James Miller is getting. Tony, did Tony back off there? I think Tony backed off there. All right, so we've seen the 92 go real wide there. I know I saw that, but I'm not exactly sure if that was intentional or not. So Tony Hillbrand's going to be back in 6th place now, with James Miller up in 5th, but it also does seem like James Miller here is setting well, yeah, I guess well, not really. I was going to say he might be a little bit faster, but not by much. It is not by much here at the moment. It might just be a little common courtesy thing here, but Tony Hillbrand's, I'm not sure what's going on here between these two guys right now. They're kind of just swapping back and forth, just having fun. And ultimately, that's the whole reason why we're here in the first place, is to have fun and to enjoy racing with one another. So it's great to be seeing all this action that we have right now. I mean, given how difficult these road courses can be, really it's just phenomenal seeing how well a lot of these drivers are doing. And it looks like a lot of the incidents that we have looked at have been single car incidents, just drivers getting themselves involved in various wrecks here or there. So good to see lap 18 of 61 and drive. Right now we still have, looks like 20 drivers still out on track, still turning laps. Correction, 19 drivers still out on track turning laps. There is one driver that has made his way out of the race, and that does look like Alex Anderson. after 13 laps. So as we look here with Cody Miller and Benny Hogan. Benny Hogan now going to find himself behind the 28 of Cody Miller, who we saw charging or trying to get his way around that number 5 earlier in the race. Has now successfully done so. In 11th right now, Cody Miller now has to work his way up to Thomas Sewell in the 77. The 77, a driver we have not talked about yet here in this race. Kind of in his lonesome at this moment. He's got Cody Welsh in his sights at this right now. And Cody Welsh, I got to mention here, definitely, I don't know if we have a hard charger award here or anything of those sorts, but Cody Welsh here up 10 positions here in this race. He's in 9th place right now, so that 85 machine is absolutely pushing that gas pedal into the floor. So really great to see that here as Benny Hogan and Scott Shire continue their battle here for 11th place. So with Benny Hogan just under a half a second between himself and Cody, and with just about 10 laps to go before we see our first driver come down into pit road for a planned pit stop. Yeah, Jennifer wonders, he's doing it so quietly. Talking about Cody Welsh in the 85 machine having moved through the field into 9th place. Yeah, he has definitely done so impressively well. Not really banging up a whole lot of noise here and just keeping things nice, calm, and steady. Now, let's take a look at our point standings here once again and kind of get an idea of what's going to shape up here. How is this going to affect our point standings? Aaron Smith is the first driver that stands out to me that isn't listed. So for Aaron Smith, this is huge. This is going to be absolutely phenomenal for Aaron Smith. He's going to be able to get himself a little bit of points and ultimately come home with a podium, with a win for the season. So Aaron Smith here in the 70 machine looking phenomenal here in this race. Nick Nickerson in 2nd place right now, going to be in 6th on the point standings. So for himself, this would obviously give him a pretty good boost for the point standings. So these battles for the championship is going to be pretty close here, guys. Right now, I mean, you have Howie Briss, the leader in the point standings, in 4th place right now in this race. So if he's not able to keep himself, at least if he goes down any further, it's only going to hurt himself. And especially if he gets below that of Sean Williams in that 6th place spot. So we're going to be expecting to see Howie Briss really try and push himself tooth and nail to keep that 4th place spot or even get himself up into the top 3. Cody Welsh is currently in 9th place, holding on to that right now. So with that in mind here, folks, just taking a moment just to kind of analyze that and see where things are at the moment. It's kind of interesting to see how these battles stack out. Now, we have another question in chat. That is going to be, what is the fastest lap on track? And that does join. That is going to be, drum roll please, 124.71 is going to be the best time for the race at this moment. If I'm not mistaken, we did have drivers set faster lap times for that for qualifying. So I believe that was Aaron Smith and Jaden Hopp. They were both in the 124s. for their qualifying times here for today's race. So these guys pretty quick, I gotta say, for Road Atlanta, for taking these cars here. I mean, it's pretty impressive, I gotta say. For taking Arcus here and just sending him, really, yeah, I gotta say, it's in the 120s. You know, that's just it's fun to watch. It's great to see these guys really push themselves week in and week out. Mike Ashmore in the chat again. He perished again once more. It looked like he did come back out on track and try and get himself a few more laps turned, but after waiting all that time in the pits to get that damage repaired, it was all for nothing. Michael, my heart goes out to you, and you'll get him next time, buddy. I promise. As James Coulibaly right now in the 12 machine, starting to feel a little bit of pressure from Scott Shire in that 14th place spot right now. James holding on to 13th, trying to do all that he can with, oh man, Scott Shire just really trying to get on the rear end of that 12 machine here. Let's actually ride on board with the 4 of Scott Shire, and let's actually take a lap around with the number 4 and just listen to the sights and sounds of Road Atlanta. And Scott Shire, right as we come back here, having a little bit of moment, gets himself loose and spins out. Gonna find himself down into 15th, and I gotta say, that was very impressive to watch Scott Shire navigate these really just tricky turns, especially that chicane. It's very interesting to see how slow these cars have to get in order to get themselves prepared for that turn. You really have to slow these cars down. It really, really matters. You cannot send these cars into a turn at speed. It will end in disaster. Now, there are some exceptions. There are some very minute, fine exceptions. I can't get into those right now, as I don't have enough of them on hand to explain them, but there are exceptions where you are kind of able to be a little bit more aggressive on the throttle and really push these cars through. Now, obviously, we're not going slow here by any means at Road Atlanta. We're seeing top speeds here of 177 miles an hour here at Road Atlanta in these ARCAs. So these guys are not, they're not sandbagging these cars by any means. They're not trying to go slow. They're really pushing it. They're really trying to do all that they possibly can here as we get a beautiful shot of Sean Williams in the 89 machine. And Corey Mitchell in the chat, pit strategy could play a huge role in this race, and I have to fully agree with that sentiment here. Right now we still have, I have to say, another at least 5 laps before we see the first driver come down into pit road. But what I'm curious about here is who is going to try and stay out? Who's going to prolong their stint here? Now, when I was given the pit window, it was 30-ish laps. Okay, so that, you're going to have drivers here that are going to obviously try and conserve fuel. They're going to be a little bit nicer on those tires. They're not going to try and wind them down to the wire, if you will, before they come down into the pits. They're going to try and be smart about it. And there's always that driver. And Cody Welsh is one of those good examples here of those silent assassin type drivers that you give them time, that's all they need. They just need time. A driver like Cody Welsh, who's up 11 positions here in a race like this, he's got nothing but time right now. He has everything on his side to make this work. If Cody Welsh here is doing what I think he's doing, which is more than likely just being conservative, not really trying to be aggressive, but be conservative, be clean, be consistent, hit your marks, and it's going to play out, because once pit cycles do come around, that is when it's going to matter. If Cody Welsh is able to get himself up 3, 4, 5 positions, or even up into the lead just by pit strategy, that could be huge for the 85. Now, there is a flip side to that. Aaron Smith, Nick Nickerson, Jaden Hopp, all three of these drivers. Howie Briss you could also include in that as well. All of those drivers, they could still very well be right on the tail of Cody Welsh here once things kind of cycle around. And this is just one driver that we're speaking, that is just an example. There's James Miller, there's Sean Williams, there's Tony Hillbrands, Thomas Sua. There's plenty of drivers here that all have the potential of being that underdog, of being the driver that takes the undercut, that takes that chance, takes that risk to come home with a win. Here for the 2022 VRL Cup Series, Road Atlanta 250. This is round number 7. As we look here with Sean Williams and James Miller. Sean Williams holding on to 6th place right now. James going to be right on the tail of Sean Williams here. So lap 27 of 61 here. I'm going to expect to see, there's going to be a few drivers that are going to come in here probably, well, right now. Kevin Foster coming down here into pit road. He's down a few laps. He's working on lap 25 right now. Or obviously the lead lap's 28, so he's going to be down 3 at this point in time. But coming down here into pit road nonetheless. Just to get it done and out of the way here. Oh, James Miller. Almost had a bit of a moment there, it seemed like, but keeping it together. The 09 to James Miller here kind of had an up and down race here. It seems like he's been up in the front. He's been down here in the kind of top 10 for some time now, and slowly just trying to recoup as much of that as he possibly can here. Cody Welsh just behind. Still up 11 positions. That's just absolutely impressive here. I love to see it. He's got Thomas Sewell just behind him in the 77 at this point in time, but it looks like he's got lap traffic behind him as well. I'm trying to see who that is. That is the number 2. That is Nick Nickerson. So Cody Welsh here might possibly get put down a lap here if Nick Nickerson is able to get around this 85. That's not going to be looking too promising here. Honestly, that was a bit of an oversight here on my part. Trying to determine where Cody was going to find himself after pit cycles. That's going to play a big role here. Oof, is all I have to say for that one for at the moment. But look at this battle here. Nice string of drivers here. Cody Miller right on the tail in 12th place right now. Nicholas Lavelle just in front. Nope, that is not, definitely not Nicholas Lavelle. I believe that is Howie Briss in the 97 in 4th place right now. So we got drivers all over the place here. Ooh, look at that. Cody Miller getting a little sideways, a little Tokyo drift action out of the 28 machine there, keeping it together nice and well. But here we go. We are on lap 30 of 61. Let's take a look here from Aaron Smith's perspective. I just want to see if Aaron here is he actually just passed the pit entry, if I'm not mistaken, if that's what that was. That might have been pit exit. I think I was mistaken on that one. My apologies. So Aaron Smith here is going to be coming around on lap 30 once he crosses the line. Now, I'm very curious to know how Nick Nickerson and Jaden Hopp and really Howie Briss and Tony, really the top 5 here, are going to kind of respond to Aaron once he does decide to come down. If they even do wait for him to come down, they might even make plans of their own, which the undercut could be could work. It could very well work if you want to come down before the leader and try and get around him when he comes down. Oh, here we go. It's Aaron Smith into pit road. Right on cue, lap 30 of 61. Pit cycles have started for the race here today, and it's going to be Nick Nickerson and Jaden Hopp opting to stay out here. So they're gonna stay on the over. They're gonna see how long they can hold on to it. And Cody Welsh did not pit. He's still out here on track, and he gets a little bit loose, and probably not going to be too satisfied getting into the grass there on lap 31 of 61. He's probably going to be thinking about coming down into pits after that one. But we have Aaron Smith, Howie Briss in pit road currently. Aaron making his way back out onto track. Aaron Smith's going to work his way back out, and he's going to find himself in 3rd place as we still follow along with Cody Welsh currently holding on to 8th place right now. Tony Hilbrand's now also coming down here into pit road now as well in the 92 machine. So a very slow trickle effect that we're seeing in the pits right now. Not really a whole lot of activity at this point in time. It's kind of one driver after the other, excuse me. As Nick Nickerson, here he goes down into pit road here. We'll see if Jaden Hopp, he does not do the same. He's going to stay out another lap here. So for Aaron Smith in the 70 machine right now, really once Jaden Hopp makes his way back into pit road, he's going to have the lead once again here. And, man, that's That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough for any of the drivers that might have been hoping to try and take advantage of that pit strategy if it was going to be possible, but it does not seem like that's going to be the case here, as Aaron Smith already in second place, and the only driver left to come down into the pits in front of him is Jaden Hopp, as he has a little bit of lap traffic in front of him. Thomas Sewell in the 77 holding on to 8th place. Going to be put a lap down here as the 70 machine of Aaron Smith works his way around him. Sean Williams now going to be making his way out of the pits here. And here goes Jaden Hopp in the 81 machine. Coming here into pit road. It looked like he was locking up tires there for just a moment, but it might have just been the camera angle once again. And here goes Aaron Smith around pit road, and that's going to put himself back into the lead with Nick Nickerson in second place once Nick finds his way back around the pit road here. There he goes into second. And if you're looking on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, you will see just how spread out these drivers have gotten. And really, there's no battles for positions happening right now. Everyone is kind of all on their lonesome. There's no one really doing anything too drastic here at this moment. So as most of our field has come down into pit road, Thomas Sewell looks like the last driver left to come down into the pits before the pit cycles have completed. We are on lap 34 of 61 here for the Road Atlanta 250. So as drivers continue to work their way back onto track, some drivers fighting cold tires, other drivers already warmed up and ripping around. So they do have 3 sets of tires available to them throughout this race here, including the one that they start on. So technically 4, but they have 3 available in the pits. And look at this battle here. Cody Miller, James Coulibaly just behind him in that 12 machine. This is the battle for 12th place, ironically. Oh, Cody Miller almost gets loose. That causes James Coulibaly to check up. Slows him down significantly. That puts nearly a second and a half now between the 28 and James Coulibaly here in the 12 machine. That is the uncertainty of road courses for these cars that I absolutely love. Coming here with these leagues and seeing this, it's absolutely fantastic. You never really know when you're going to see the driver in front of you just lose all of their traction and begin to just wiggle and bob around all over the place. It's absolutely amazing to watch. And all these drivers here do a phenomenal job here in this race. So Thomas Sewell right now with Benny Hogan battling it out for 10th place. as this now becomes the next battle here out on track. Benny Hogan trying to find some room around Thomas Sewell. A lot of these drivers starting to get settled out here once again. And everyone really, it's kind of a mixed bag here. There's drivers all over the place. You have lap traffic being involved and all over the field, really. So it's a very interesting dynamic that we have out on track. So we have a question from the chat. Is there anyone that pitted a little bit earlier that we might expect to see come into the pits for a second run? Right now, the leaders are out of the question. The only two drivers that I think might come down in the pits once again for a final stop, Kevin Foster as well as Paul Mikolajczyk. But that seems to be the only two that I can tell that might need to come down into pits once more. Now, there might need to be one final pit stop. Again, fuel windows was around 30 laps, but given that there's only 31 laps here once they came down pits, yeah, I'm not exactly certain that we'll see a two-stop race here for the majority of drivers, maybe just a handful. And Cody Welsh is still a lap down, unfortunately. He's still got quite a bit of time between himself and James Miller in the 09 before he starts to get himself back up into the groove of things here. But Cody Welsh here still has had a phenomenal performance in this race. Holding on to 8th place, he's up 11 spots still. And with 25 laps left to go, I mean, he's still got time. There's still an opportunity here that he could be able to get that lap back. But I'm not exactly entirely confident that that will happen here. We'll just have to see how things play on. See how this race progresses on for the 85 of Cody Welsh here and for the rest of our field. So with 24 laps left to go, it's Aaron Smith in the lead, Nick Nickerson in second, Jaden Hopp in third, Howie Brisson fourth, Tony Hillebrands in fifth place, Sean Williams in sixth, James Miller in seventh, Cody Welch in eighth, Nicholas Lavelle in ninth, and Benny Hogan in 10th place. That's going to round up our top 10 at this moment for the 2022 VRL Cup Series Road Atlanta 250. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back for more. Don't go anywhere, and stay tuned for more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad.
Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.
Welcome back, folks, to the action here at Road Atlanta for the Road Atlanta 250. We are here showcasing the 2022 VRL Cup Series, and while we were away on commercial break, James Coulibaly had an incident. Let's take a look here. Gets himself sideways. You can see the tires all locking up. Doesn't get himself into any walls or into any other cars. So it's going to be a great thing for James Coulibaly there, keeping it back out on the track. 23 laps left to go. Currently working on lap 39 here with Aaron Smith, as he's got Sean Williams just in front of him. Lap traffic letting him go nice and cleanly, not making any hassle of it. And believe it or not, right now, the only other driver still on the lead lap is going to be Nick Nickerson. So if you look at our timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen, Jaden Hopp, Howie Briss, as well as Tony Hilbrands, just barely able to stick within the lead lap here, essentially, as far as timing and scoring is concerned. But right now, the battle for, well, really, the drivers still in contention for the lead here that are going to be able to fight for the lead once things get closer towards the end. It's dwindling. So let's ride on board here with Aaron Smith for a moment here and see if we just kind of get an idea of what the leader. Oh. Cody Miller there almost got a little loose there. Aaron Smith. Great checkup there, making sure that the two didn't collide into one another. So, we did have a question in the chat that I am looking into at the moment. I do believe that this is a fixed series, so there are not a whole lot of changes that you can make to the car. I could be wrong in that assumption, but I do believe that this is a fixed series that drivers are given a setup for. So what that means, if you are not familiar with the iRacing service and kind of how it works, when you are given a fixed setup car, there's an extremely limited number of things that you can do, which basically means nothing. When you have a fixed setup, you can change your steering ratio as well as your brake bias for these cars. Other cars, you have a few other options. The Dallara IR18, for example, the Indy car, you can also make adjustments to the weight jacker, if I'm not mistaken. But those are the only adjustments that you can make to the car. In an open setup, the door becomes a little bit more wide open. You can make changes to your suspension, you can make changes to your gearing, you can make changes to your tire pressure, you can make changes to how much fuel you're carrying in the car. There's a lot of different things that you can do to make your car just that little bit faster, that 1/10 of a second faster. There's always different things that you can do, different options that you can take. But with an open setup league, things always get a little bit more complicated and a little bit more interesting. So Well, hopefully that that explanation was adequate for everyone watching at home. Hopefully that clears any questions that anyone has. But look at this. Lap traffic also getting involved here. Down the main straight into turn 1. That was quite a busy part of the track there for a moment. Sean Williams as well as Nick Nickerson here. Nick in second place right now. Sean Williams in that 6th place spot. Gonna be put down a lap here as Nick works his way around. Oh, right on the tail of the 28 of Cody Miller. Nick is driving the wheels off this thing. Look at this. That is absolutely impressive. We're going to ride on board here with Cody Miller just to kind of get an idea of... well, actually, you know what? Let's go with Sean Williams. This seems like a better spot here to get a picture of this. Oh, Sean Williams almost gets very unstable there. So 18 laps left to go. We're on lap 43 currently. I do apologize, folks, if I go a little quiet from time to time. Battling a little bit of a cold here as the season changes, and yeah, always a lovely time of the year. But right now, as the action still unfolds, I have a little bit of a surprising news for you. Cody Welsh, up into 7th place here, has managed to get himself up another spot here in this race here today. So that is absolutely phenomenal. Cody doing a heck of a job here in this race, all the way up into 7th place, into the top 10. Now, with 17 laps left to go, I gotta wonder if Cody might be able to eventually get himself up to at least Sean Williams. I think that should be the goal for Cody right now, is close himself to the 89 of Sean Williams, which right now, based on timing and scoring, looking at his pace, he might be able to just do that if he continues with the pace that he's doing right now. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see how Cody does and if he's going to be able to get himself up there. Corey Mitchell, maybe 6 cars will wreck in front of him. Yeah, I think that's every driver's hope, you know, when they're in that position, you know, and you want to get all the way up to the front, and that's really that seems like the only way that it's going to be possible is a caution comes out or just the entire field just wrecks and you have nothing but an open track to race on. Which reminds me of a specific Formula One race. I can't recall which one it was exactly, but there was an official real-life Formula One race where the race ended with one driver on the track. Myself, as a commentator, can only imagine what that might have been like. But luckily, we don't have to deal with that here. We have more than one driver here on the track. At least 22 times that. At least. So, right now, currently, I mean, we've seen a few drivers have a few hiccups. We've seen drivers get put out of the race because of the incidents that we have seen. But ultimately, I don't think we have seen anyone that has been put out due to colliding into one another or whatever the case may be. We did see that incident earlier on with Tony Hilbrands and Howie Briss, but obviously these two drivers are still out here on track battling it out. So 15 laps left to go here at Road Atlanta. And this has been quite the race, I gotta say. We saw a lot of great battles at the beginning. We saw really just a long fight for positions all the way until it was the tires just couldn't keep up anymore. They just weren't able. Oh, whoa. Cody almost got himself a little loose there through the chicane. Keeps it together, still holding on to 7th place. He's only got 15 laps left to go. So we haven't taken a moment here to look at our leader, but as we tune back to him, he's clearly had some lap traffic to work his way through. I believe that was, oh geez, trying to remember the name now or find his number. I believe it was Howie Dietrich? Anyway, I'm getting myself all mixed up here as Aaron Smith continues to work his way throughout the field. He's passing Kevin Foster right now in that 15th place spot. Aaron Smith has really shown some incredible pace here. And really, I don't know how he's done it, but he's been able to keep himself away from his competitors extremely well. Right now between himself and Nick Nickerson, it's just about 6 1/4 seconds between the two. As we come through the chicane, let's see how Aaron Smith handles it. Very nice. Wheels right on the curb. Very, very smooth for Aaron Smith here. He definitely seems to be very comfortable on these road courses. So Aaron Smith definitely showing his dominance here on the road courses. So as we continue along here, watching the fan favorite Cody Welsh in the 85 machine, still holding on to that 7th place spot. Currently, he's got Sean Williams to catch up to, and he's had this objective in front of him for quite some time, as he has Michael Keithley, I believe, in the 53 just in front of him, doing the respectful thing, getting out of the way. So Kevin Foster here going to come down into pit road with 12 to go. So now I have to wonder if there are going to be some drivers that are going to come into the pits before the end of this race here and get maybe possibly just a final splash of fuel. But again, I still have my doubts about that. I think everyone here that did come in on the expected pit lap, which was lap 30 or 31, is going to be able to make it all the way until the end here. So here looking at second place driver of Nick Nickerson. We're going to ride on board with him for just a moment as he has lap traffic currently in front of him, and he's had it in front of him for quite some time now. He's been trying to battle it and get himself around these guys for as long as I can tell. Very good work here from Nick Nickerson. He's going to continue to close in on the gap. And let's continue to listen in on the number 2 machine and the sights and sounds here at Road Atlanta. just realized that I was talking to no one there for a moment, folks. Hello, welcome. I am back. I was talking to myself there for a moment, reflecting on how the race has gone. Only kidding. Apologies for that, folks, as we get back to the action here. We're looking at Cody Welsh right now. We were just talking a moment ago, or I was just saying a moment ago, that Cody here, he's more than likely just going to be looking to hold on to this 7th place spot, and is more than likely going to finish there, as with 8 laps left to go, it's not exactly in the cards here to be able to work his way up into the front and be a competitor up there. In even the top 5, but still, after moving 12 positions up into 7th, that's still quite an achievement here, especially at a road course in the ARCAs. It's got to be something to walk away from pretty proud. So Cody here doing an incredible job here at the Road Atlanta 250. Maybe not quite coming away from it with the win that he possibly wanted to, but still going to come away with it with an absolutely incredible amount of confidence, I would have to assume, going into the future. Seven laps left to go here for the remainder of this race here today. Aaron Smith still our race leader as he comes up to a little bit of lap traffic there. Paul Mikolajczyk in that 38 machine going to step aside there for a moment and let the 70 on by. Taking things up to the blimp here at Road Atlanta. Just taking a top-down view of what the field is up to and seeing what else we can see here around the track. As the race continues to dwindle down to the end here. So right now it's Aaron Smith, Nick Nickerson, Jaden Hopp, Howie Briss, and Tony Hillbrands rounding out the top 5 here at this moment. And Corey Mitchell saying in the chat, Cody ran a heck of a race, and I got to agree. Anytime that you come into a race and you work your way up that field that many spots, right now Cody sitting in 7th, up 12 positions from the start of his race here today. Cody Welsh doing a phenomenal job here today. So yeah, you got to give credit to that 85 machine of just absolutely coming here with a mission in mind and executing it to the best of his ability. And again, that's just going to give him a lot more confidence going forward. And after we leave here at Road Atlanta, next week we will see ourselves at Martinsville for the Old Dominion 250 presented by Geezer Authentics. So we will be back to oval racing next week, where things will be relatively back to normal for these drivers, being back on an oval course instead of a road course here, where things will be a little bit at a more even playing field, if you will. So let's take a look at our points here once again before we see the checkered flag fly. Howie Briss, who we're currently looking at right now, our points leader, going to be in 4th place right now. And we said earlier in the broadcast that if Howie Briss wanted to even consider staying up here in the top, he would have to stay out in front of Sean Williams and Nicholas Lavelle. At least Sean Williams. And right now, he has done so. Currently holding on to 4th place, Sean Williams in 6th place, Nicholas Lavelle in 8th place right now. So Howie not exactly going to have the best performance here that he probably would have hoped for the point stand, for the championship. But ultimately here, still going to come away with some points and hopefully be able to stay the leader in the championship standings. Now, Aaron Smith, again, we mentioned earlier on that he was not here in the top 20 at this point in time, but is going to be able to take home a win here for the 2022 season. So that's going to be a great run there for Aaron Smith for the Road Atlanta 250 for the number 70 machine. So with 3 laps left to go here, and just how spread out these drivers are, looking at the bottom right-hand side of your screen, looking at the track map here once again, you can see just where all these drivers are currently and just the distance that has been set for these drivers. So once we come across the line, once the checkered flag flies, it'll be a trickling effect that we see here as drivers come across the line and finish their race here today. But Howie Briss right on the tail, Cody Miller here in the 28 machine. So Cody Welsh in the point standings. Let's actually find out here, and let's find out together where Cody Welsh is. So he is going to be currently 18th out of 20 here at this moment. He's going to be down, it looks like, 492 points from the leader. And finishing 7th here today, that's not the worst. But that is definitely going to help him and give him a little bit of a bump here as Howie Briss almost gets a little bit sideways. But continuing on, 2 laps left to go here. We will see that white flag fly soon. So for the folks watching at home, there was a question where Cody Welsh, where he stands in points. He is in 18th at this moment, down 492 points behind the leader, Howie Briss, currently. And as we are now on the final lap here at Road Atlanta, the white flag has flown, and this will be the last time that the drivers make their way around track. Aaron Smith right now, still with lap traffic all around him. Aaron Smith here is still going to be on the charge. You see the 85. Cody Welsh stepping aside, letting the leader on by here on the final lap. And as we come down the final long straight and to the last chicane, if I do remember correctly, the checkered flag will fly here at Road Atlanta as we watch Aaron Smith. He's going to come across the line to take home the win. You see James Coulibaly just behind him, sliding and banging across his way across the checkered line. Nick Nickerson making his way across the final turn and across the line to take home second place. Jaden Hopp going to be approaching the final chicane here, and if all goes well, he will be taking home third for the race here. And through the final turn and across the line with the 09 of James Miller crashing out in front of him. Jaden Hopp takes home third place, and Howie Briss, after a concrete start, going to come to the final chicane. And across the checkered line, he will take home fourth place. And here are our race results. Aaron Smith taking home the win. Nick Nickerson in second with Jaden Hopp in third. Howie Briss in fourth. Tony Hillebrands in fifth. Sean Williams in sixth. Cody Welsh in seventh. Nicholas Lavelle in eighth. James Miller in ninth. Thomas Sewell in 10th. Benny Hogan in 11th. Cody Miller in 12th. James Coulibaly in 13th. Scott Shire in 14th. Kevin Foster in 15th. Michael Keithley in 16th. Paul Mikolajczyk in 17th. Patrick Colby in 18th. Michael Ashmore in 19th, Keith Lee in 20th, Alex Anderson in 21st, and Howie Dietrich in 22nd. We will take a quick commercial break here, folks, and when we come back, we will have our post-race interviews. Stay tuned, folks, and we will be back for our post-race interviews.
Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.
Welcome back, folks. We are here and ready for our post-race interviews. Up first, it's going to be our third place driver, Jaden Hopp. Let's get Jaden up here into the booth. Jaden, sir, can you read me?
Yeah, I can.
Jaden, it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal race for everyone involved here, and really, it was a tough one to call, just given these road courses are always a bit of uncertainty for myself up here in the booth, as I never really can be too sure what to expect. So for yourself, Jaden, kind of walk me through what you expected for Road Atlanta, and what ultimately led to your success here in taking home third.
I didn't expect much from Road Atlanta. Kind of expected to get like fifth or something like that. But track was fun, definitely workout, but it was fun.
Absolutely. Now that this race is concluded, and next week going to, I believe, what was it again? It was Martinsville. Indeed, it was Martinsville. So going back to the traditional oval courses, I believe this is more of a short track than we are typically used to. Are you expecting things to be a little bit more smooth going for yourself going into next week, or expecting a little bit more of a caution fest at Martinsville?
I think they could be smooth going forward, but like you said, Martinsville is usually caution fest, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty excited to see how Martinsville is going to go. It's always a fun time for short track racing. So, Jaden, I want to congratulate you on taking home third. It was definitely a well-earned victory here. It was a long, long battle to the end here, but you managed to get yourself a podium finish here, and you got to be feeling pretty well, Jaden. I want to give you the floor, though, to give out your shout-outs and thank anyone watching at home, anyone in the pit crew, or anyone at home for your race here today. Jaden, the floor is yours.
I just got to thank you and Tony again for the broadcast and for the week overall.
Absolutely. Well, I got to thank you, Jaden, for coming up here and chatting with me in the booth. And again, congratulations on taking home third place. Hopefully we get to talk to you again next week, and good luck to you going into Martinsville.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Have a great night, Jaden. All right, so that's the 81 of Jaden Hopp out of the booth, taking home third place for the race here today. Up next is going to be Nick Nickerson in the number 2 machine. Nick, sir, do you have a read?
There we go. How's it going, man?
How's it going, Nick? How are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty good, man. How about you?
I am feeling fantastic. It's always a great day when we're racing at a road course, but for yourself, Nick, you had, there was a couple drivers that I noticed that were kind of having, I would say, an up and down race. You're up in the front, you're up in kind of the back of the top 10, kind of midfield. What were you kind of battling here at Road Atlanta, and what do you think was the thing that helped you balance yourself for this race?
Yeah, man. Well, I think I started 5th. Well, first off, I didn't get any practice. I mean, I literally got out of my work truck and hopped on my sim rig with like 4 minutes to go in qualifying. So kind of set me back, not really being able to kind of prepare for the race. But I think I started 5th, and then a couple laps got up to 2nd place. And by that time, I think Aaron was already like probably 5-6 seconds ahead. And then the entire race was just trying to find a way to get more speed out of my laps but not burn my tires off, which, Aaron, when you're as fast as Aaron is, it's hard to do that. It's hard to go faster than him and not burn your tires up at the same time, So, just kind of behind the 8 ball pretty much the whole race. And there was a couple times I thought maybe I would get some kind of good run, with lap traffic. Maybe I can try to play with that, see if I can get good entries or exits around lap traffic. But every time that he was slowed up, I would be slowed up too, and there was just nothing really to gain the whole race, to be honest. So other than that, I mean, it was pretty good. Had a couple kind of crappy laps when the tires started falling off, but other than that, I mean, good points.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be a great time for the point standings for yourself. Now, I gotta ask you, the 70 machine, Aaron Smith, he seemed to be quite on the nail here today, but you were also showing some pretty good pace. What do you think was working for Aaron here tonight, and what do you think was kind of a disadvantage for everyone else?
Well, I don't know. These cars are a little bit different for driving when it comes to road course racing. You know, some people get it, some people don't. It's just really all about not sliding the tires, and it's really easy to slide the tires, and you build up heat, and then they just continuously slide. So if you can drive laps where you're not sliding, where you feel like you're just ridiculously slow, but your exit speeds are always high, or they're always fast because you don't have a lot of heat build up in your tires, and that's kind of the way to go. And Aaron's obviously figured it out. I figured it out. A couple other guys probably could have got there, you know, with a little bit more practice. You know, I think where really Aaron got going for him this race was that he got the pole, and he was able to, you know, have clean track for, I don't know, I think it was 10 laps before we finally caught up to a lap traffic. I feel like if I were to at least start in second, I probably would have given him a run for his money. But yeah, man, other than that, it was a good show.
Absolutely. It was a phenomenal race. This was quite the interesting one to watch, you know, with all the elevation changes and just how interesting Road Atlanta is. I was expecting a very, well, interesting race, but that is exactly what we got here, Nick. I want to thank you for coming up here and joining me in the booth and congratulate you on taking home second place. But I want to give you the opportunity and give out your shout-outs and thank anyone at home watching the broadcast, anyone in the pit crew, or anyone at home that is helping you support your racing endeavors.
Yeah, man, I just appreciate everybody watching the broadcast and everybody participates in this league. It's a tons of fun. And Mason, man, thanks for broadcasting, and congratulations to Aaron. Good win.
Absolutely, Nick. Thank you for coming up here and chat with me once again. And again, congratulations on second place, and good luck to you next week in Martinsville.
Hey, appreciate it, man. See you next week.
See you next week, Nick. Have a great night.
Too.
That is Nick Nickerson out of the booth in second place, taking home second place. Last but certainly not least here, Aaron Smith, our race winner, the driver who seemingly could not be stopped here in the race. Aaron, do you have a read?
Yeah, I've got you.
Aaron, what did you put on or in that 70 machine that just gave you that incredible pace and just the distance that you were able to set between yourself and your competition? I mean, once you were out on track and once you were able to get yourself a comfortable lead, there was just no stopping you. Aaron, did you have a few extra hours of practice here before the race?
To be honest with you, no, I didn't. I just showed up to the practice session and decided I wanted to race tonight, and fortunately we put on a pretty good show, so I'm glad that happened.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was phenomenal watching yourself right out of the gate. Once the pace car came in and you guys were saw the green flag, I mean, that 70 machine was just gone. And, you know, for a moment I was kind of half expecting that maybe we were going to see Howie Briss, maybe Tony Hillbrands work their way up to you and possibly give you a little bit of hassle. Towards the end, we started to see Nick Nickerson slowly start to get himself up to you, but you still just had incredible pace here tonight, Aaron. And for just coming in and showing up and taking home the win, I got to say that's it's got to be a pretty good feeling for yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Nick's a really good road course racer, and I had to save a little bit of fuel in that last run, but he was certainly having me a bit worried there.
Absolutely. Now, I got to ask you, I was looking at points, and I noticed that you currently aren't listed in the top 20 for the point standings. So, coming home with a win for the season, is this, if I'm not mistaken, this would be your first win of the 2022 season?
I believe so. It certainly won't be the last one. I'm looking forward to a handful of the road courses coming up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I fully agree. There are plenty of races left here, folks. I believe, if the count is correct, I believe it is 30 races that we are expected to see here in the season. But Aaron, what an incredible way to finish out race number 7 for the Road Atlanta 250, coming out on top and just crushing the field. Aaron, I want to congratulate you on taking the win here today, and thank you for coming up here and joining me in the booth. But I want to give you this time to thank anyone watching the broadcast, anyone in your pit crew, or anyone at home for your win here today.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the folks at the Velocity Racing League for putting this show on, y'all broadcasting, and all the folks for watching. Looking forward to coming back whenever. I don't know when it'll be, but I'm looking forward to it either way.
Absolutely. Well, it was great having you here, Aaron, and thank you again for coming up here and chatting with me in the booth, and hopefully we get to see you in future races, hopefully next week at Martinsville, possibly?
Yeah, maybe. Looks interesting. I might.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll get to see the 70 machine on some short track oval racing. I'd love to see it. Aaron, thank you for coming up here and joining me in the booth once again, and congratulations once more. I will see you hopefully in a future race, and good luck to you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Aaron. Thank you very much, and have a great night. Aaron Smith, the number 70 machine, taking home the win for the Road Atlanta 250. And that is going to wrap up our coverage of the 2022 VRL Cup Series round number 7. Again, the Road Atlanta 250. My name is Mason Heimball with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here today. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned with all the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad 7 days a week. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.